Hi and welcome back to this course. My name is Cynthia Wakio and I am joined by Paminas, who is going to be telling us what you can do to stand out in a crowded job market. Thank you for joining me as usual.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So when we're talking about a crowded job market, what do we mean by that?
So a crowded job market, also referred to as a saturated job market, is where we have more professionals looking for opportunities than they are available. So a case in point is, let's say, to put it just in a very simple way, is let's say for every 100 applicants, we only have 1 or 2 positions.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's where we are in our country. So to just put a perspective into what we are discussing, I remember some times back, the Kenya Revenue Authority, they were looking to hire management trainees,
Yes.
less than 2,000 of them. And guess the number of applicants they got. They released the data and they said over 68,000 applicants. So look at the opportunity. They only wanted to fill 2,000 opportunities, 2,000 slots, and yet the number of applicants, there were over 60,000. And we've seen this replicated. The Nairobi City Council also when they were hiring, and even the judiciary. So you find there are so many people who are qualified compared to the number of positions. And also another way of looking at it in there is, at times, is if you look also at the salaries being paid. They are very low, they are depressed. Why? Because also of the high number of applicants. Because it's a job market is like any economy, where the supply is high, you'll find that the demand goes down or the price goes down. So you'll find for some professions, for example, HR, accounts, engineer, even lawyer, I mean, almost all the professions in Kenya are saturated, but there are some you'll find really the salaries are nothing to speak about. So they are so low. So you find like now there are chief accountants who are earning 80,000 shillings. Why? Because the employer feels there are so many of you, I'm spoiled for choice. So I can afford to pay that low. Compared now to, look at a profession like a doctor or engineer. Way back like 20 or 30 years ago, there were not many of them. So you'll find a fresh graduate was even earning 80,000. Within 1 or 2 years, they'll be able to earn 150,000 because there were not many. But now as we find many people graduating, that also has an impact in the job market, because if we don't have as many positions coming up, then that means obviously the people who are there, it will be so competitive such that even the pay will be affected.
And that's something also we see here at corporate staff and services.
Exactly. Look at the number of applicants we get. I mean, for one positions, we will normally receive, especially if it's a junior position, you will receive between 700 CVs to 1,500 CVs. And you only want to hire for one person. So indeed, it's a sad situation, but it's the reality. So with that situation on the ground, what can professionals looking to get opportunities do to stand out? Yes, all hope is not lost. And for me, my advice to professionals is you have to do things different. Because if you do things the same way as everyone is doing, then what should you expect? You'll expect the same result. You get the poor pay, you don't get opportunities, you don't get interviews. So my number one advice is, number one, focus on experience and skills, not the number of certificates you have. And sometimes way back, especially for me when I was beginning my career, an MBA is not just something you got into. As the name suggests, Master of Business Administration, you're looking to master. So the assumption is, I have some 5 years to 7 years of experience. I'm now getting into a supervisory managerial role. That's the time I would go for an MBA. But nowadays you find people they finish school, they tarmac for 6 months, it's not working, or maybe their parents can afford, and then they go back to school. So now here you're a fresh graduate, you don't have experience, but you have all these certification. And because you've invested in that, even your ask will be high, you'll be expecting more in terms of salary, and I can't judge you on that. So what happens? You are pricing yourself out of the market. So I know it's a bit, it's a struggle at the beginning, but that's the best route to take. So for me, I would recommend you are better off even with a diploma, with 5-10 years solid experience than with 2 years and you have all these certification. So that's number one. Number two is And this is something I keep on emphasizing. How are you packaging yourself? Your CV interview skills, you must be on point. Now, the reality is, especially when you talk about CV, look at it this way. Cindy, I don't know you, I've never met you. You've applied either to a recruiter, such as ourselves, or to a potential employer. How are they going to judge you? The only way they are going to judge you is based on that piece of paper, whatever you've written there.
Yeah.
And they're not going, people don't have the luxury of 1 hour trying to understand who Cynthia is. So the assumption is, when I look at your CV, whatever you've sent me, that CV, that document should speak to me. Within 1 or 2 minutes, it should speak to me. I should be able to see, oh, this person is qualified, is worth a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, when you come, the ability to sell yourself within those 30 to 45 minutes is also key.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always recommend to professionals, ensure that your CV is professional. And that is why even here we do offer CV writing service. And we start with a free CV review whereby we look at what you have. If it's good, you tell you it's good. Oh, you just need to change a few things. If it's not good, then we give you options on how to go about improving it.
Yeah.
Interview skills is also important because it's not something that we are taught, unfortunately, in college. Most of us, we only learn about interviews now when we start applying for jobs. But I would say that's why I'm very passionate in terms of empowering professionals, and we have videos where we help professionals on how to go about answering the various interview questions. But if you feel you need one-on-one guidance, it's also a service we provide, such that now we're able to come and now customize. So if it's you're looking for a digital marketing role, we'll be able to tell you, Cynthia, this is how you approach it. This is what employers are expecting of a digital marketer. These are the trends. These are the salaries. So that now you can be more confident now when you face the interviewer. Yeah. And lastly, apart from how you package yourself, is also think about now job search. How do you go about it? And here my advice to professionals is, don't just rely on the job sites.
Yes.
Why? Because again, that's where the majority of people are focusing. And if you do that, and if that's not only your method, then you not get results. So key is networks. Utilize your own networks. Look at the former places you've worked. Don't burn bridges. Keep those relationships.
Yeah.
And even people like us, recruiters, see a way you can engage with us. We do have free networking sessions. We do have some free trainings. Join. We also do have paid ones. You can even also invest in those ones. Come, get to interact with recruiters. Get to find out how do we operate? What opportunities do we have? What kind of employers do we normally interact with? That way, you'll have a first-hand experience. And when an opportunity comes, you'll be top of mind. Yeah. So the key thing to stand out is just your approach must be unique. Don't just do things the way everyone else is doing. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for your time.
And thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series so far, and we hope to see you watching the next video. Thank you.